Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Naysayers and Storytellers and Naysayers. I'm Seth Ney, a storyteller, and I'm just saying Naysayers because my last name. And my buddy was like, "Your fans should in YouTube world should be the Naysayers." So that's where the Naysayers come in. But coming up to the show is my buddy Willie Evans Jr. He's a storyteller too and a musician and all that good stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Willie Evans Jr. Hey Willie, how are you?
It's me. What's up, man? What's going on?
Nothing much, just hanging out and looking forward to interviewing you. And we've been trying to get this off the ground for like forever, but we finally got it. So I'm
Yeah,
so
right,
excited.
right. And that's on me. And anyone who sees this that knows me personally will feel your pain because I am notoriously bad with with everything. I'm notoriously bad with everything.
You're
But
totally
yeah,
fine. It's like
no doubt.
that's life, though. It's like it'll take us everywhere, and
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All over the place, dude. Yeah, man.
heck yeah, indeed. So you're a multi-talented international artist with a 25-year-long career, including touring the world with your hip hop group, Asimov. Is it Asimov or
Asimov.
am I correct?
Yeah.
Awesome, fantastic.
hmm
So tell me about those 25 years. I know it's a lot, and traveling. Which countries were your favorite, and all that good stuff.
Well, um, yeah, those are my dudes, man. I started with them after doing some solo stuff. It was just one of those things that kind of happened the way groups happen naturally. Like we all were in love with hip hop and in the same vicinity, and some of us became roommates. And that turned into us working on music together. That turned into us becoming great friends. And then the opportunity presented itself for us to put out a record, and we put together something that I feel was dope. Um, we got uh, pulled in by the Perceptionist, which is Mr. Lift and Acrobatic. I was making beats. Peyton Locke, rest in peace, was making beats, and people dug the beats that we were making, particularly them. So they brought us in to produce, and we kind of finagled that into going on tour with them. We did our first tour with them, and then just kind of kept going. I would say, if we're talking about favorite places inside the U.S., my best experience live was in the Bay, but I can't remember what the name of the venue was. Um, I think a very, very close second is Atlanta, though. Atlanta has always showed us love. Has always showed us love. Um, Hold on, this is my mom is calling. Of course, I gotta tell her I'm uh, doing interview. Will call back. Um,
You're
Sorry.
totally
So yeah,
fine. You're totally fine.
um, uh, I would say inside the U.S. Bay Area, close second would be Atlanta because they have always showed us love, and I just kind of love going there. You know what I'm saying? Um, I would say outside the U.S., my personal best experience was in Budapest.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. I It was the first place I ever did a show. First of all, the city is amazing. Coming from like I grew up in Jacksonville, so coming from an area that's completely flat and going there was nuts. And the vibe was, as somebody that was naive to world stuff, the vibe was dope. You know, I think the thing that is the thing that colors your experience as a touring artist is everywhere that you go, there are a handful of people who their job is to be cool with you and make sure that you have a good time while you're there. So I think sometimes that can skew your view of a place. You know what I mean? Because every place that you go, there are like 2 or 3 people who are like, hey, I'm going to host you while you're here and make sure you see all of the coolest things in a short time that you're here. But if you go somewhere like I was in the Bronx for a month, like a month or two, doing sound design for an off Broadway thing, and at the same time get like staying with the label owner of the label that put out my last record, and being there for that extended period of time. Once I had to start like eating into my money and paying for food, you know what I'm saying? Then it was a different experience. So I'm saying that to say any place that I say like, oh, that was my favorite place, it's with a grain of salt, because every place was kind of my favorite place. You're literally, I mean, you're exhausted on my level. You're exhausted because, you know, you're not there's not, you're driving, you're handling your gear. I do a lot of audio visual stuff with my live show, so I'm having to set up and break down this thing that would normally have like a whole tech team to set up. But at the same time, when you get in the city, you're meeting people who they took the time to book you in the first place, so they already dig what you make, and they want to show you what they see as the best parts of their city. And to culminate, that all culminates in you being on stage and being able to connect with people who love the same thing, the same type of music, or the same weird stuff that you love. So it makes every experience like super dope. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I say all of that to say, to qualify my next statement, is it's hard to really pick. You know what I'm saying? But I think in terms of my personal experience and things that happened to me, I had a really great time the first time I went to the Bay, and I had a really great time the second time I went to Budapest.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. And like
Yeah.
my favorite city to do stand up was definitely is like top five. Definitely is Atlanta for sure. Like I did
Yeah.
the Relapse
Yeah.
Theater, and it was it's heaven.
That's
And
awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome, man. That's really cool.
and when I went to Bangkok in like 2006, and having a host is like the best because like you get to see things that you never seen before.
Right. Yeah.
And like I got to go to Surin, and there was like elephants and everything. It was just like, oh, this is pretty neat. They're really
Yeah.
awesome elephants. So
Yeah. 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 It's pretty. Yeah. It's awesome. That is
yeah,
extremely awesome.
yep,
Pretty neat. That's super cool, man. What are you talking about?
yeah,
That's
indeed.
awesome, man.
They're good stuff. Good stuff. But
So
yeah,
you've done. I mean, I know we're supposed to be interviewing me, but you've done stand up, like touring, like, or you've done spot dates, or you did a stand up tour, or
yeah, I did a complete tour called the Dirty Son of a Peach tour, and so Dirty for Dirty South, Sun for
yeah,
the Sunshine State, and then the Peach for the Georgia Peach. So,
nice, nice.
and I did like 14 consecutive like spots, like, and it's like it was like back to back 10 days straight. It was like so
Yeah,
awesome, and
yeah.
yep, from
That's awesome. I'm a huge comedy fan, so yeah, I'm a huge comedy fan, and I admire people who have the courage to crack jokes on stage without the protection of music.
oh for sure, it's tough.
Because when I'm on stage and I'm being a goofball and something I says falls flat, I could be like, "Oh, let's go to the next song." You know what I mean? You can't do that. You can't if it's just you and a microphone. You can't do that. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing, man.
It's the best, and like my set was called "Sex, Jokes, and Rock and Roll," like my album title. It was like a little
Okay,
sample of like live, and I did like 6 minutes out there, and they were making grilled cheese in the corner. It was completely sold out. People were sitting on the ground because there were no more chairs. People were standing in the
nice.
back because there were no more chairs. It was just
That's
wild.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's dope. I want
like
to do that.
heck
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Come on,
Yeah.
man.
Like Atlanta definitely showed you love. It's such a beautiful
Yeah,
city,
for sure.
and like I remember like I was on stage and I was standing in one spot and I tried to stand like do my best to stand in one spot, but the
Mm.
laughs kept on coming like at like huge waves and it kept on moving me backwards and forward. It was just
Oh, wow.
nuts. Yeah, I'll send you the
Wow.
video too. So
Yeah, please, man.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of musical references, and you're like, oh, there's a Salt and Pepper off the bat, and then there's a
Mhm.
Beatles at the end with like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and
Oh,
Marilyn Manson
wow.
sprinkled, and just so many music references. You're like, holy crap, you can turn these into jokes, you know? So,
Yeah, like this is in your set.
yeah,
Yes, please send me that. Please
absolutely,
send me that for real.
for sure. And so
Wow,
don't watch
man.
it. It's not safe for work, and it's
Oh,
dirty. So make sure adults only in the room. So
okay. Go on. I got
for sure.
you.
So
Oh,
you've
man.
released, independent records, introducing underground utilities, communication, and now. And what were like the recording processes like for those albums? And uh,
Um, the the first the first album, like full album that I recorded, was on a 4-track tape recorder in the living room of my first apartment. Um, I was going in and out of the studio with some old friends, well, with what are now old friends, and we were in a group, and the things were kind of stalling a little bit, and I wanted to make, I just had the fever. I wanted to make music, but I didn't want to go to the studio and make music like under the name that I was under then, because I didn't want it to seem like I was breaking away from them or trying to like, oh, I'm going to do it on my own. I just wanted to make music. So I got a little 4-track, started recording at home, and I took the name Willie Evans, or I gave myself the name Willie Evans Jr., thinking, oh, I'm just gonna do this, and then I'll go back to doing stuff with the group. And I went there at the time. There was this place in Riverside, in Jacksonville, that manufactured, oh, not manufactured, but they made tapes. They duplicated tapes. I went down there and got like 100 tapes made, and went down to the spot where the skaters were, and people bought the tapes. And then the next thing I knew, I was selling tapes right and left, and it was pretty clear that the people who were listening, had decided that I was Willie Evans Jr. You know what I'm saying? And then the other albums, uh, actually, Communication was recorded at home as well, by then I had kind of upgraded with equipment and had a mic in the closet and Pro Tools and all of that, and was recording at home still. Um, then same thing with Asimov's album, was recorded at my house. Um, and Introducing was also recorded at my house. I think oh, no. That's not entirely true. The original version was recorded at my house. The dude that runs the label, the dude that ran the label, uh, took me to a studio while I was staying with him, and had me re-record all of the vocals in a studio. But here's what I find hilarious about that: the, recording at home, I had a closet with comforters like nailed up to the wall, and a little lamp, and the mic I had was good, and I just would run out and hit record and run back in and record. Right? He was like, "No, I need you to record. I need you to record this in a proper studio." So he puts me in the car and takes me to this dude's house, who has a studio in his house. He has turned his closet into a mic booth, and I recorded in the same environment. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm looking backwards on it now. I recorded in the same environment. You know what I mean? I mean, the guy who recorded me is a pure, like, he's a pure engineer. So he definitely was able to make the vocal sound way better than I ever could have. But it was the same environment. You know what I'm saying? And then I would say I've been recording myself my entire life. So if I tried, I think I could get close to or better than the vocals that he got. But he has the advantage of experience and a higher skill level as an engineer. So,
Most definitely. It's and you're like the RZA of like everything, it's like
I mean, yeah, I don't want to compare myself to the RZA, but I mean, yeah, kind of, yeah. I'm very much. But here's the thing, man. I came up in Jacksonville, Florida, making the type of hip hop that not a lot of people mess with, and on top of that, Jacksonville being accepting of hip hop as a culture or music, anything, is a very relatively recent thing. So when I wanted to record, I had to learn to record myself. When I wanted to make a video for my music, I had to learn how to shoot and edit, set up a camera, record my own stuff. When I wanted like graphic design and couldn't afford to pay the two illest graphic designers I knew, I had to learn how to do all of that myself. So it's kind of one of those things where, you know, if you come up like coming up, it felt like hip hop was happening way over there, and I loved it, so I made it over here, but I couldn't get over there. There was like water separating me from here and there, like I was on an island. So I'm over here and I'm watching them do things, and I'm having to look at what they do and say, okay, how can I do that over here? And that's how, being in a place like this and coming up and making like original or weird music, you kind of have to be a Swiss Army knife. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, it was frustrating, and you just feel like you're not doing things to the standard that other people hold. But in the long run, it kind of that mentality is why I'm where I am now in terms of the skill set that I have. I wouldn't have that skill set if I was in an environment where I was like, okay, I just need to be the dopest MC, and then I will pay this person for beats, and I will pay this person to make videos, and I will pay this person to do graphic design. I will pay this person to come up with a concept for, you know what I'm saying? That that's cool, but I would not be, I would not have the the number of avenues for creativity that I have now if I didn't go through that. You know what I mean? So,
indeed.
yeah.
Most definitely. I feel like on so many levels, it's like I film I film my like sets because I made my like a 9 hour special slash documentary for my comedy, and so
Mhm.
it's like if you need to watch it to put you to sleep, then and then it'll still keep playing by the time you wake up. So
Listen, man, I'm telling you, I'm a comedy fan. I would love to see that. So please send me these links, man, because
okay.
I will check this out. I watch more YouTube than I watch like actual TV.
Oh hell
So
yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
it's like a rabbit hole of a stand-up special. So just have fun with it. So, and you can
okay,
click and choose
okay.
what you want to watch, so you don't have to watch it all at once. But if you
I
want,
just chaptered out.
just chapter it out. So
Okay,
it's a
cool,
it's a
cool.
pinned tweet on my Twitter, and so, but yeah, I feel you on being the graphic designer too, because like on my album, I designed it myself, and it was like.
Hmm.
That sign that says like live nudes? It's like
Yeah,
fluorescent. It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
mimicked it as my comedy album. So it's called.
Okay, okay.
So it's like I'll send you that album too. It's like 30
Yeah,
minutes
send it
long,
to me.
and but
Yeah,
yeah, it's
for
like,
sure.
and the album was recorded live at a pool hall in Daytona Beach, so you can
Oh
hear people
wow.
playing pool. And I had my buddy mix and master it out in Colorado because he told me he would for a good price. For, I was like, oh, not bad, for like $40. So I'm like, it sounded pretty good. So
The whole thing for $40?
yeah, I got
Wow.
hooked up. Yeah, because we go way back to like our middle school years, so he doesn't
Okay.
charge me like an arm and a leg, and plus he doesn't have to deal with instruments and stuff, so it can just like, you know, because it's just me talking in a microphone. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
but
Mhm.
yeah, but it's a
That's
beautiful
awesome,
thing.
man.
So
Yeah,
um,
that's really cool.
I gotta
So
learn.
let me. So let. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead.
you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was going to ask. Are you? I'm. It's occurring to me now that you're not in Jacksonville.
I'm not. Nope. I'm in Palm Coast, so it's not too
Okay.
bad.
So okay. So when you come to the writing workshops,
Yep.
it's a little bit of a drive, at least.
It's like it's like people ask me that all the time, and it's like it's actually like
Yeah,
driving from the beaches to across town in Jacksonville. It's not that bad. Like,
yeah. And you know, when I describe Jacksonville to people that aren't from here, I describe it as being like anywhere you want to go takes 30 minutes because it's so spread out.
yeah,
It's a 30-minute drive no matter where you're going. So yeah, so that's fair. That's fair for you to say.
yeah, and it's so. I mean, I'm so used to it now. Like, there's no mics in my town at all, so
Yeah.
I have to drive like an hour to like Jacksonville or an hour to Daytona or an hour and
Hmm.
20 to Orlando to get 5 minutes. I'm like,
To work out. Yeah.
yep. But it trains me to be a touring comic or something if I need to, and
Yeah.
and I can handle the road. So
How
it's
long? How long have you been doing like stand up like consistently?
8 years consistently, but started off like in 10. So, but other than that, I found my voice like
Wow.
3, 4 years in, because like my buddies are like,
Hmm.
you say these really dirty things, no curse words, and so it's like you're like
Hmm.
the cleanest, dirtiest comic in Daytona Beach, or like and my buddy, and he used to live in Jacksonville, but he moved up to Chicago. He was like, "You're like the poet laureate of Pornhub," and I'm like, "Thanks."
Nice.
So I'm like, maybe I should throw my sets on Pornhub, but they'll probably get more
Right.
traffic on it. So,
Oh my God, that'd be cool. That'd actually be funny. That'd be hilarious.
yeah.
You
Like,
should
here's
you
my
should
channel
totally do
subscribe.
that. You should
I,
totally do that.
I will.
Oh man.
I'll send you the link to my channel. So
Right.
it's like,
But yes,
yes,
yes.
it's
That
like no wonder this
that will be
doesn't
the first time
belong.
that anyone has ever sent me a Pornhub link. That would be very cool. That would be
Absolutely.
very funny. Oh my God.
Uh,
Oh man.
for sure. I was thinking about putting sketches of like all my dirty material onto
Mhm.
my Pornhub channel if I ever got one. So it'd be
That'd be
pretty
funny. That'd be
fantastic.
too funny, dude.
It'd be too
Yeah,
graphic
man.
too. So like YouTube would totally ban me off this platform.
There's a
Yeah,
possibility. Yeah, there's a possibility for sure.
and that's why I kept my stand-up special hidden from like plain sight.
Hmm.
It's like I don't know. I don't think anyone has ever done this, but like it's like a super secret stand-up special where like if you have the link to it, you can find it. Like there's 3 Easter eggs
Like you
throughout
can't
the entire
search it.
internet. Yep.
Yeah.
So if you know where to find it, you're good. But if you don't
Okay.
know, it's like all right. So good
No
stuff for sure.
doubt. No doubt.
So you produced albums such as Black Dialogue for the Perceptionist, which was a
Hmm.
Rolling Stone top 50 album. Like, what
Hmm.
was it like to get like that accomplishment for like Rolling Stone and working with all those folks?
Um, it was extremely dope. You know, getting to work with artists like that, and in other instances, like meeting people who were, I mean, your heroes. When you were a kid or younger or whatever. Um, is extremely dope. I think look like in hindsight, I think that I have a tendency to um, have trouble seeing myself as a peer of artists like that. You know what I mean? And they, to their credit, they they treated me like a peer, and it was strange to me. So I would kind of like, no, 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 no. So I was always kind of dealing with that. You know what I mean? As a dude that's like coming in and making beats for these people who I think are just like out of here in terms of skill set and all of that. But I mean, definitely an amazing experience. You know what I mean? I think if I would have had more presence of mind and not just been floating through it, like oh my God, I'm hanging out with people that I never thought I would ever. If I was not doing that and just kind of present in what was happening, I feel as if I would have been more direct and direct and had a clear path toward what I was going for. Like I'm so in love with hip hop culture and making music and getting the opportunity to work with these artists that I admire. I was so wrapped up in that that I didn't think about like, well, I also should probably I probably should also like consider the direction of my career. Like I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and to be honest with you, that's something that didn't really, not something I really cared about until mad late, like way later. But you know, you love what you're doing, and you get an opportunity to do it, and you can buy a sandwich every now and again off of it. What else do you need? Until you have kids, and then you're like, oh, I need like to put clothes on them. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like a it's like a two-part thing to that. It's like a two-part thing to that. It was amazing to answer your question more directly. It was amazing. It was as amazing as you would think, but I do feel as if I could have been more mentally present and not head in the clouds while it was happening.
And that's really like tough to do because like like when I was a concert journalist in Los Angeles, so I would go to like all these historic venues, and so like my head was always in the clouds because like I never really like I didn't understand the history of all these historic venues at the time. And then when I finally like stepped away and looked what they all meant, it's like, man, I should have been like more cheese like, here at the Whiskey logo and stuff. It's like it's always business for me. It's like, ah, dang. Sometimes it's like that.
Sometimes it's like that, and then also sometimes you just speaking of being present, sometimes you just want to be in that moment and like absorb what's happening, just sit in what's happening right then. You don't always, in every situation, you don't want to always be thinking 10 moves ahead. Some people do that, and a lot of those people are very successful, so big up to them. But I feel like there are moments in time where it is good to just enjoy the moment. You know what I mean? So I think there's
stop and smell the roses, kind of thing.
Yeah. But I think my issue there, it should be a balance, and I think my issue is sometimes I'll get caught up and just lay down in the roses and just like take a nap. You know what I'm saying? So pluses and minuses to being a space cadet, I guess.
For sure. And there's nothing wrong with that. We need people involved, everything. So, yeah.
Word up.
So from Rolling Stone to contributing to the production of platinum-selling artist Pharoah Monch's 13, A Magnificent Day for an Exorcism. Like, I found out about Pharoah Monch, like, on the Lyricist Lounge soundtrack from, like, with Mos Def and Nate Dogg. And then my buddy Billy Myers the third, he's like living his best life in LA now, and producing epic show. And like I would be his DJ at the Nog in Daytona, and he would always pick Simon Says by Pharoah Monch. And there's like, is Samoa Joe from AEW here or something? Because he walks out to like back in the day, he'd walk out to like the Simon Says like intro.
Yeah.
That's totally Pharoah Monch. But how did you connect with Pharoah Monch, and what was it like working on 13, A Magnificent Day for an Exorcism?
It was super dope. I connected with him through the owner of the label, with the last album that I put out, last label album that I put out. During that time that I was talking about, where I was staying in New York, I was staying with him in the Bronx. He was taking me around, introducing me to everybody. We shot a video for one of my songs, introducing. The day before we shot the video, I played a festival in Jersey, and Pharoah was there, and he introduced me to Pharoah Monch, and it turned out that he had already like heard my album or had been listening to it or listened to it once, or somebody threw it by his head or something. I don't know. My album had come in proximity to his ears at some point, and he dug it, and Seuss, the owner of the label, invited him out to the video shoot. He ended up being in the video, like as an Easter egg. There's a thing where I'm like making out with this girl on the elevator, and there's this dude in there that's just like, what's going on? And that's him. And we stayed in contact from there, and you know, every once in a while I'll float him some beats. You know what I mean? And he dug one, and there it is. You know what I mean?
What's,
Um,
what's the name of the song that it's
the magician,
awesome?
the magician.
This
Yeah,
I was looking through the song titles and I'm like, man, this is like some dark names. It reminds me of like Grave Diggers and like
yeah.
horror.
No, the album is very very intense, but it's really good. Like musically, he is in my opinion, he is very like a, a lot of like high level MCs, like high level purebred MCs are sometimes not very uh like musical. Like they're not like with melody and stuff like that. They're not. That's not really like their thing. He's definitely not that. You know, and he's like one of the greatest like MCs of all time, right? Um, but he is, you know, part of his style is like to be like in pockets and musical with his rhymes. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, his it that reflects in the songs that he makes. You know what I mean? So yeah, super
Awesome.
dope, man.
It is super dope. That's a cool like everything about that story is just so awesome. Like
There's more to it. There's more to it, but yeah, definitely it was definitely like that was one of like the most like I was definitely in hip hop overload. Like I met like the Beat Monitors, Evil D. Like I went to this thing where Pete Rock was DJing and was standing behind the booth and just kind of felt like I was like a passenger in somebody else's body, like watching them experience all of this stuff. You know what I mean? Which once again, going back to what I was saying before, I was just kind of experiencing it instead of being like, hey, you know, I'm Willie Evans Jr. and I do this and this and that, and here's my I don't know CD. I guess here's my CD and this and that. I was just like, man, this is dope. Just gonna
indeed.
sit here and enjoy how dope this is. You know what I mean? Like, you know. So yeah,
It's awesome. It's
yeah.
fantastic. But yeah, and you're a creative force, and your recent focus is societal conversations and broadening your projects to impact larger audience. And so, why the shift?
Um, kids. I I kids and being alive for this amount of time. I think you know most of the motivation around me making music um has been selfish. You know what I'm saying? For my entire life, it was just like I wanted to get away from stuff that I was dealing with, and so I turned to music. Right? That's like where I go because music does not bail on me. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't uh, let me down. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't turn its back on me. It doesn't, you know. So I turn to music, and I make music because that's kind of it's my therapy, right? And that's very like cliche to say, but yeah. Um, and I think as I have gotten older and over my time of being a dad, I realized that I have this, I have had this opportunity to make things that might move the needle, and I haven't. You know what I'm saying? Just by nature of me being who I am, I am one of those people that believe by nature of being who you are, you move the needle in society if you take up space. But I think if I take up space, but then I also have been given this skill set to take up even more space, but I'm using that to protect the comfort of my own space, it's not doing much. You know what I mean? And one day I won't be here. And when that happens, instead of them saying, "Man, he was really dope for the stuff he was making in his era," I want them to say, "Man, he made these things in an effort to reach out and communicate to us, to the people around him, and spark a conversation, shift a conversation, move the needle. And that's where I am now with like the decisions that motivation informs a lot of the decisions that I am making right now, professionally and personally. Is I want to have them be in a better environment, and it is kind of goofy for me to not be trying to help to create that environment if I have the ability to do that. You know what I mean?
Most
So,
definitely.
yeah.
Indeed, I feel you on that one. Just moving that needle with all the time that you have now, because
Yeah,
it's
because
important.
we don't know how much
You
of
leave your
yeah,
mark, your legacy, all that good stuff
absolutely, absolutely.
for sure. And like we were talking earlier about the last Sunday sessions that we had at Babs Labs or Jacks by
Mhm,
Jacks and Eric and setting all
mhm,
that stuff up. And I remember you were
mhm,
talking everything, which was like very impactful, and you were talking about your music and like all the like examples that you had, and you like there was
mhm,
like James Brown and Stevie Wonder and like you're you're working on your new project called the Brown Wonder, and it's like an
mhm,
interactive cultural installation that draws those influences from those two artists, and it provides a rich
mhm.
commentary on the Black experience. So, why the Brown Wonder as a name, and your influences by James Brown and Stevie Wonder and all that good stuff.
Well, I mean, James Brown and Stevie Wonder. I mean, we don't have to talk about their catalog of music, right? I think there are elements to how they made their music that I was very, very heavily influenced by. I think that you know they to me speak specifically to the thing that I was trying to do ultimately with the Brown Wonder, which was to kind of crystallize this element of the Black experience for my kids and say, you know, part of the Black experience is this is all of these bad things, but there are these like extremely dope and amazing things over here that are also going to be part of your experience, and no one can take those things away. You know what I'm saying? Um, and you know what better example to what better canvas to create, what better artist to use to create the canvas than James Brown and Stevie Wonder. Um, and then also the Brown Wonder is just a dope name. Also, it's just dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it it it's kind of like a chicken or the egg thing because the concept, just the practical concept of chopping up video of them and turning it into like this backdrop of other visuals is dope to me. But then also the Brown Wonder is a dope name to me. But then also on top of that, the Brown Wonder is the perfect way to describe the thing that I was trying to communicate to my kids and hopefully one day the rest of the world. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. And when we see each other next at the last Sunday, because I know you do all the tech work and stuff. Like when
Yeah.
you like James Brown, like I saw this group called the Rebelmatic in Satellite Beach at Pineapples, and
Hmm.
the drummer that is usually the drummer. He's he's a drummer for Jizza, and he's related to Old Dirty Bastard and RZA.
Oh, that's dope.
Yep. And so he couldn't make it this time around, but I promised I'd go see Rebelmatic, and their shirt is like pretty much like James Brown, but in a punk rock outfit.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. So I'm
Oh,
like,
that's like the shirt for their band?
yeah. So as
Oh,
soon
that's
as
dope.
when I go up there, I'll wear it, and so you'll be like, damn, that shirt is so dope, and
Yeah,
so it's gonna be so.
man. Yeah, for sure, man. For sure, for sure.
They
Yeah.
put on a heck of a show. I'm like, holy crap! And they were on. I can't remember who they were on tour with, but they're kind of like a big name, but I can't remember. But
Hmm.
Rebelmatic was so dope. But I'll send you the link of their music, and hopefully they have like music videos
Yeah,
too.
please.
But they're just so awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
please send me that.
and
You
so
got a lot
yeah,
of links to send me.
I do. I gotta write them all down and just send them to you.
Yeah,
But I'm like
all
all
that.
my other
Need
stuff
all
is like
that.
all my stuff is like from my link tree. So you'll find my
Okay.
special, my album, my
Okay.
set from Relapse Theater and all that stuff. So that's
Okay. Cool.
all in one spot. But yeah, and
Okay.
like James Brown, like I remember seeing Clyde Stubblefield at the Union
Hmm.
Station playing drums when he was
Hmm.
alive back in like early 2012 or something.
Hmm.
And it's like Scarface was on the bill with like DJ Lord from Public Enemy and
Yeah,
like
he's from Savannah. I was
oh
born in Savannah. DJ Lord is from Savannah. He used to
that's
come to Jacksonville and do DJ gigs a lot. And
dang
the group that I was in at the time would perform on those nights. And I was like, "Oh, you from Savannah? I'm from Savannah."
heck
Yeah.
that's so
So I bring that up every time I hear his name. I say
he's like the
that.
best and like Shock G from Digital Underground, rest in peace, was on the bill
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
like
Rest in peace. Yeah.
heaven on earth and but I saw Stevie Wonder perform live once, like during Common's set at the House of Blues on the Sunset Strip, and he just
Oh
walked out
wow.
and started scatting, and like Common was freestyling over and Stevie Wonder scat. I was like, this is so
That
awesome.
is nuts.
Yeah,
That's crazy. That's crazy.
you
That
never
is
know.
nuts. That's like a one of a kind, like once in a lifetime thing. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
Heck yeah, I
That's
never thought
really
in my
cool.
a million years I'd see Stevie Wonder with Common. It's just
Yeah,
like
man. That's
good
crazy.
stuff. Yeah,
That's so cool.
awesome. So Willie, thank you so much for being my guest on the Storytellers and
Yeah.
Naysayers, and like all Willie's like info's in the description box below from websites to Twitter and all that good stuff, social media. So make sure to follow Willie on everything. And is there any final words you'd like to go out to? Oh, also nominate 5 storytellers you'd like to see on the Storytellers and Naysayers show too.
5 storytellers. Uh, I would say, hmm, you should probably get, you should probably get, if you're talking about storytellers, Anna Jacobson is the illest storyteller in Jacksonville. Um, Erica Saffer, she's really good storyteller, which you know.
Yep,
Um, uh, Barbara Colacello, who is like the OG of the storytelling explosion happening right now. Um, you already had Grant. Uh, there's a dude. I don't know if you know who he is. He goes by Arson Fist. He's a great storyteller and he makes dope music and he's a toy photographer. Um, how many is that? 4, and then 5. I want to say Doug, but I can't remember his last name.
we can look it up.
Uh, yeah, Doug.
Yeah,
His name is Doug. He's a great storyteller too. So
awesome. Yeah, I met Arson Fist at Paper Route. He like
okay,
yeah, he was like he had his toy on display and they had this big old
yeah,
toy thing. And I was like, man, this is so awesome. And so I think I
nah,
bought
he's
something
dope.
from him. Yeah, he's a
Yeah, he's
cool.
dope. Dope MC, dope photographer, dope. Like he creates these like I don't know if you've ever seen his work, but it's crazy. It's extremely dope. Um, dope storyteller, Doug, dope storyteller, uh, and the other 3 go without saying. So you
For
know,
sure.
Erica is the Jacksonville's biggest brain, and Babs is the OG, and Anna is the LeBron of Jacksonville storytelling. So uh, you
With the
can't go
chalk
wrong.
and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, go wrong. You can't go wrong.
for sure. And Willie, is there any final words you'd like to give out to the audience at home?
Uh, nah. You know what? Whatever is happening with you, if you're watching this right now, if it's bad, I hope it gets better. If it's good, I hope it stays that way.
Awesome.
And
And we'll
that's
leave it
it.
at that.
Yeah,
Thank you so much,
yeah,
Willie. You're the best. And I'll piece this
yeah, man.
together. I'll send you those links. Um, and um, and thank you so much. I remember what I have to send you for my part, but I can't remember the other thing that I have to send you. But uh,
I can't remember either. But please send me your stuff. I want to check out the stand up for real.
For sure, absolutely, Willie. And I will
All
see you
right.
at the last Sunday of the
Yeah.
month, and we'll talk about the festival thing too. So, uh,
Yes. Well, yeah. Yeah. Just stay on me. Like, I got other stuff going on, but stay on me. I'm interested. I need to make it make sense in terms of like set versus, and I know that your budget, I don't know what your budget is, but you know what I'm saying.
for sure,
So yeah,
absolutely,
we'll talk about it.
most definitely. Thank you so much, Willie.
All
You
right.
rock, dude. And I'll see you
All right, man.
this last Sunday. Take it easy,
All
bud.
right, man.
Take
Peace.
it easy. Well, awesome. And everyone else, take care, and we'll see you all on the next episode